Hey everyone, just wanted to say a big thank you. Over 15% of you are already subscribed, and I truly appreciate the support. If you're new and enjoying these stories, consider joining the community by hitting that subscribe button. We're getting closer to 10,000 and every subscriber counts. I stared at my phone, blinking in disbelief, wondering if I was really seeing what I thought I was. There it was, a picture sent by my girlfriend of nearly 3 years. She was at the airport, boarding gate in the background, holding hands with another guy I'd never seen before. Her smile was wide, carefree, like someone who had just unloaded a heavy burden. And the caption? Leaving all the dead weight behind. That one sentence hit harder than anything she could have said to my face. No explanation. No warning. Just that. It was cruel, calculated, and oddly it felt rehearsed, like she'd been planning this moment for a while. We'd been planning a trip together for months. Europe. Her dream. I'd covered the flights, the hotel bookings, even added her as an authorized user on my card so she wouldn't have to worry about money. I trusted her. That was my mistake. I didn't reply to her message. No angry texts. No desperate calls. Just silence. My chest was tight with shock, but my mind was sharp. I quietly logged into my banking app, clicked the stolen card option, and just like that, cut her off. I didn't know where she was headed, or who that guy was, but I figured they'd find out real quick that vacations cost money. I assumed she'd call eventually, maybe try to play it off like some impulsive joke. But 12 hours later, I got something better, an international call from a number I didn't recognize. I let it ring twice, then picked up. Her voice on the other end wasn't smug anymore. It was shaky. Desperate. Hey, babe, look, something weird happened at customs. They say my card's not working. I think there's a misunderstanding. Can you call the bank and fix it? I almost laughed. A misunderstanding. Was that what she thought this was? She was halfway across the world, stranded, and suddenly I wasn't dead weight anymore. I could hear background chatter, airport staff maybe, or that new guy pacing behind her. She didn't sound like someone in love. She sounded like someone who just realized actions have consequences. Still, I didn't say anything. Just listened to her squirm. Her voice cracked again. Please. I didn't mean it like that. I didn't think it'd go like this. Just call the bank, okay? But I wasn't ready to make it that easy. Because what she didn't know yet was that she'd left behind more than just a relationship. She left behind someone who had given her everything, support, trust, freedom, and watched her throw it away in a single snap. Now, she was stuck somewhere unfamiliar, completely dependent on a guy who probably didn't even know her last name. And me? I wasn't angry anymore. Just curious. Curious how far she'd go before realizing she played the wrong person. And that was only the beginning. 3 years. That's how long we were together. We weren't perfect, but I believed we were solid. We met in college, bonded over late-night ramen and Netflix marathons. She had this way of making the ordinary feel exciting. I was the quiet one, the planner. She was the spontaneous spark that kept things interesting. I loved her for it, maybe too much. Somewhere along the line, I didn't notice that her spark wasn't lighting up our life anymore. It was looking for a new fire. She'd always talked about wanting to travel, to find herself, overseas. I thought I was being supportive. I covered the bills when she quit her job to focus on personal growth. I picked up groceries, booked dinner reservations, even set aside savings for that trip she always dreamed about. It wasn't just my money, it was my time, my trust. And maybe that made it easy for her to think I'd always be there, no matter what. I guess she mistook loyalty for weakness. The days leading up to her flight were normal. Or at least, they seemed that way. She'd been distant, but I chalked it up to pre-travel nerves. I should have noticed the subtle shifts, the longer phone calls she took in the other room, the smiles she gave to texts she never showed me, the way she avoided saying, "I love you," like it was suddenly too heavy for her mouth. And now I realized those weren't just signs, They were warnings I ignored. When I got that message from the airport, it wasn't just betrayal. It was humiliation. She'd used my name, my money, and my kindness to fund her great escape. And then mocked me for it like I was some pitiful extra in her new adventure. I could only imagine how she explained me to that guy, if she even mentioned me at all. Maybe I was just some guy she used to date. Or an old roommate. Maybe she thought I'd just crawl away quietly and let her enjoy her vacation. But here's the thing, she underestimated me. I wasn't looking for revenge. I wasn't planning some dramatic payback. I just wanted her to feel what it was like to be left behind without warning. To taste that same helpless confusion she handed me with one photo. And the card? That was just the beginning. What she didn't know was that most of the trip reservations were in my name. Hotel bookings, excursions, even the SIM card in her travel phone. I could see everything. And I watched as she tried to check into a hotel in Paris, only to be told her reservation was cancelled. I watched as the restaurant confirmations started disappearing one by one. Slowly, methodically, I pulled every thread she thought she had control over. Not out of anger, but clarity. She wanted freedom. I was just giving her exactly what she asked for. And through it all, I didn't say a word. I didn't answer her calls. I didn't open her texts. I just watched. Because this wasn't about hurting her, it was about letting her finally meet the real consequences of walking away like I never mattered. That night I couldn't sleep. Not out of sadness, but something closer to disbelief. I kept going back to that photo. Her hand wrapped around his like it had never held mine. Her smile wide, proud, almost victorious. I didn't know which part stung more, the betrayal itself or the fact that she wanted me to see it. It wasn't an accident. That picture wasn't meant for her friends. It was meant for me. A message. A goodbye dipped in poison. The next morning, I got a message from one of her friends. Someone I barely spoke to, but enough to recognize the name. "Hey, are you okay? Just heard what happened." I stared at the screen for a while. So it was already making the rounds. She'd probably painted herself as a free spirit breaking free from a boring life. Maybe even told people I was holding her back. I didn't respond. But now I was starting to realize this wasn't just about me and her. It was about how easily someone can rewrite the story once they think they've left the past behind. Back in Paris, things weren't going smoothly for her. Through the travel app we both shared, I saw her booking attempt a second hotel under a new name. Denied. I'd already cancelled the shared reservation. Then came the emails, one after another. First it was polite. "Hey, I think something's wrong with the bookings." Then annoyed. "Did you cancel stuff? Seriously?" By the third message, her tone changed completely. "I'm stuck here. What do you want from me?" I never answered. Because deep down, I didn't want anything. No apology. No closure. Just time. Time for her to sit in the mess she created. I could tell from the timestamps that she was hopping Wi-Fi networks, probably scrambling to stay online without a proper plan. Her phone's data? I shut that off too. I still had access to the account. She'd never bothered changing the password. Meanwhile, the guy in the photo, he started showing up in more of her posts. But they felt different now. Forced. Like she was trying to convince someone, or herself, that this was still the fairy tale she imagined. But there's something about travel that strips people bare. When things don't go as planned, you either pull together or fall apart. And from the looks of it, the cracks were already forming. A mutual friend told me he was someone she met at her yoga class. That made me laugh. I remembered how she used to say yoga was just her me time. Turns out, it was also her cheating time. But I wasn't surprised anymore. Just numb. At work, I acted like nothing happened. I smiled through meetings, answered emails, even joked around during lunch breaks. No one knew the storm I was quietly watching from the other side of the world. I wasn't falling apart, I was just waiting. waiting to see how long her new adventure could last without all the things she took for granted. It had been 5 days since she left. 5 days since that photo. 5 days since I shut everything down and watched her world unravel from behind a screen. I could see the desperation growing in her messages, shorter, angrier, more frantic. She'd tried calling from unknown numbers, sending messages through mutual friends, even emailing me with subject lines like, "Please just talk to me," and "Emergency." I didn't respond to a single one. But I read every word. Not out of spite, but to see just how deep she was digging herself into this. Then came the call from the bank. Apparently, there had been an attempt to use the card I reported stolen at a hotel in Amsterdam. She'd left Paris. My guess? She thought moving cities might fix her problems. New place, new luck. But it was the same story: no working card, no confirmed bookings, and a growing list of places that wanted payment she couldn't give. I imagined her dragging her suitcase through the streets, low on battery, arguing with hotel staff, relying on a guy who probably didn't even know what she was really running from. I started wondering about him more. The guy from the photo. Who was he really? Was he just caught up in her charm like I once was? Or did he know she'd left someone behind to be with him? Either way, I figured reality was starting to hit him too. It's easy to smile in airport selfies. A little harder when you're splitting a croissant on your last few euros and realizing the girl beside you comes with more baggage than just a suitcase. A message came through late one night. This time, it was different. It wasn't angry. It wasn't even defensive. Just quiet. "I know I messed up. Please help me. I don't know what to do." That one hit differently. Not because I felt sorry for her, but because I finally heard her voice in those words, not the performative version she used with others. This was the girl I once knew. The one who curled up on the couch with tea when life got overwhelming. But now she wasn't in our living room. She was thousands of miles away, trapped in a mess she built with her own hands. And just when I thought it couldn't get worse for her, it did. I got an email from the U.S. Embassy. It said a citizen abroad had listed me as an emergency contact. I froze. My heart raced as I read the brief message. She'd been detained, some mix-up at immigration, a flagged transaction, unpaid hotel charges, something about her ID not matching the account on file. Whatever the reason, she was now stuck, unable to move forward or backward, and the only person she thought could help was me. That was the moment everything shifted. All the silence, all the control I had, it was now sitting at a crossroads. And the next move? That would change everything. I sat staring at that email, fingers hovering over the keyboard, unsure what I was even supposed to feel. Detained? That was serious. This had gone from a messy breakup to an international problem. And yet I wasn't panicking. Not yet. I was still numb, still processing. All I knew was that she'd listed me, the dead weight, as her emergency contact. I could almost hear the panic in her voice as she filled out that form. She must have thought, even after everything, that I'd still come running. That I'd drop everything and fix what she broke. Again. I closed the email. I didn't respond. Not because I wanted her to suffer, but because something didn't sit right. There were pieces missing, details that didn't make sense. She was detained over card fraud? The one I reported? That shouldn't have escalated like this. And her ID not matching the hotel booking? That was a small problem, easily explained. Unless she wasn't using her real documents. That thought chilled me. I logged into the travel portal again, checking the records. That's when I saw it, a new reservation made 2 days ago, under a different name, but still linked to my travel account. She must have used the saved details, not realizing it left a trace. The name wasn't hers. But it wasn't the guy's either. It was someone else entirely. A woman. A name I didn't recognize. I copied it and searched online, digging through social profiles, travel forums, anything. And then I found it. A missing persons post. Passport stolen. Same country. Same week. My blood ran cold. This wasn't just about a broken heart anymore. This was something else. Something darker. And I had no idea if she'd fallen into it, or if she had willingly stepped into something that spiraled beyond her control. The embassy email wasn't just a plea for help now, it was a warning. A door opening to a side of her I never imagined existed. Just as I was piecing this together, my phone buzzed again. A voicemail. She didn't call me directly, she sent a voice note through a mutual friend. Her voice cracked with emotion. I didn't mean for this to happen. Please, just talk to me. I'm scared. He's not who I thought he was. Then a pause. I think I made a mistake. A really big one. There it was. The second twist. This wasn't a vacation anymore. It wasn't just a betrayal or a breakup. Now, there was danger. And whether I liked it or not, I was part of it. She was tangled in something real, maybe even criminal. And the guy in the airport photo? She wasn't holding his hand anymore. She was trying to get away from him. Suddenly, the silence didn't feel like control anymore. It felt like a choice I couldn't afford to make. And as much as I hated it, part of me needed to know the truth. Before it was too late. I couldn't ignore it anymore. I called the embassy. The woman on the other end of the line sounded calm, professional, but I could hear it in her tone. This wasn't the first panicked traveler to end up in this kind of mess. I gave her my name, confirmed the details, and she sighed. She's safe for now, she said. But there are complications. There was an issue with her travel documents, and she's claiming someone she traveled with abandoned her. Possibly took her passport and money. I asked, is she in danger? The pause was long. We're still figuring that out. That confirmed it. The guy in the airport photo wasn't just a rebound. He was more than that. And now, she was caught in the fallout. Whether she knew who he really was from the start, or just got dragged into it, I couldn't tell. But she needed help, and for some reason, even after everything, she believed I was the only one who'd come through. I told the embassy I'd authorized temporary emergency funds for her to get to the consulate safely. But I didn't call her. Not yet. I needed to hear the truth from her first, not another version twisted to soften the damage. And when she finally got access to a consulate phone, she called. Her voice was small, nothing like the girl who'd sent that smug airport photo. I'm sorry, she whispered. I didn't think it would go like this. She told me everything. How she met him at a retreat. How he talked about travel, freedom, ditching the dead weight, back home. It sounded fun, exciting, until the moment they landed. That's when things started changing. He took her passport. For safekeeping. Said it would be easier if only one of them carried money. Then when the card stopped working, he got angry. Distant. Then gone. I thought he loved me, she said, voice cracking. I thought I was starting a new life. She wasn't crying for me. Not really. She was crying because the fantasy collapsed. The price of her freedom was higher than she expected. But I didn't throw it in her face. I just listened. And then, just when I thought we'd reached the end of it, when I was ready to hang up and be done with the chapter, a new message popped up on my phone. From an unknown number. It was a photo. Taken that morning. Her. Sitting outside the consulate. But behind her, blurred in the background, was the same man from the airport, watching. I froze. She thought she had escaped. She was wrong. And now, it wasn't just about a breakup, or betrayal, or payback. Now it was about making sure she got home alive. The moment I saw that photo, I knew this wasn't over, not yet. I called the embassy again, this time with urgency in my voice. I told them what I saw, forwarded the image, and asked if they had security watching her. They confirmed someone was being assigned immediately. She's still inside the building, they said. We'll keep her safe. It was a strange feeling, this mix of anger, worry, and something else I couldn't quite name. After everything she'd done, after the way she left, humiliated me, used me, and tried to walk away without a shred of guilt, I still couldn't walk away when it counted most. Because deep down, beneath the mess, she was still someone I once cared about. And maybe, in some broken way, she still thought I was someone who'd protect her when no one else would. They moved her to a secure location the next day and arranged for her return flight. She didn't ask for much. She didn't say much either. Just sent one final message before boarding. "I don't deserve your help. But thank you for it anyway." I didn't reply. Not out of coldness, but because I didn't have anything else to give. Sometimes closure doesn't come in the form of a conversation. Sometimes it's in the silence after everything's been said. She made it home a week later. We didn't meet. We didn't talk. But I heard from a mutual friend that she moved out of town not long after. Said she wanted a fresh start. I hope she meant it this time. Not another escape, not another version of herself she built off someone else's back. Just real change. As for me, I took the experience for what it was, a painful lesson. I learned that love without boundaries becomes a weakness. That trust should be earned, not assumed. And that sometimes, the people we give everything to will be the ones who try to leave us with nothing. But if we stay grounded, if we know who we are, we survive it. I closed the travel account. Changed all my passwords. Moved on with life one quiet step at a time. No big social media posts. No dramatic stories told to friends. Just peace. And that peace? It was louder than any revenge. Looking back now, I don't regret helping her in the end. Not because she deserved it, but because I did. I needed to know that her choices wouldn't change who I am. That I could still do the right thing, even when it hurt. Because while she left thinking I was dead weight, I walked away knowing the truth: she didn't lose me. She lost herself. And me? I finally found myself in the silence she left behind.